G'day friends, welcome to today's video about the art journal placemat. Now this one I'm showing you right here, sorry I gotta jump right into it because that's the way I filmed it. That one I'm showing you right there is the extra file that I included in the download, and it's just all 4 pages formatted onto one page. If you didn't want to figure out how to do that, or you just wanted to print one page, I did design it so that you printed them on 4 separate pages and they kind of became this big placemat. You could tape it together or glue it together. I like to work on it separately just because I was just demonstrating with this one. But if you wanted to do it for the party, I mean, it would be easier just to print them out 4 separate times and connect them than it would be to try and get access to a printer that prints like an A1 size sheet, you know, like 19 inches by whatever inches. Like that's a little a little hard to get access to for most people. And the original ones I created, I hand drew each one. So I wanted to make sure that these were simple enough to print out and just start creating on instantly. So if you want to use the one that's just the extra file where they're all formatted to one page, you can totally go ahead and do that. It'd work great for slotting into your traveler's notebook inserts. It's kind of sized for that kind of thing. I will just say some of the prompts do get a little small when you're working on that file, but it still totally works. You'll just have to grab your glasses so you can see some of them. But yeah, what I really wanted to put in there were 4 separate files that are just quick to print out, and I mean, you don't even have to do all 4 oh my goodness, I cannot speak. You don't have to do all 4 files. You could print out the 4, and if you know you had 3 other friends come over, each of you could work on one of them each. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a sharing experience. Get your kids to do it. It's basically the same thing that we did in the DavenpARTy. It's just an art journal placemat. It's a placemat full of prompts. I printed it on regular cardstock, so the watercolor I used didn't have the what do I say? It didn't react the way that I usually like to use watercolor, so I only watercolored that little bit down there. But this cardstock is great for markers. I put that tissue under there because I didn't want to ruin my desk. I've got a habit of cutting corners and not setting up properly and getting paint everywhere, so there's paint on most of my clothing, and I just want to keep this desk nice, so you'll see me shift around that stupid little napkin. I should have just used a paper under there. I think later on in the video I do grab some paper just to put under there so it won't bleed through. That's a very generous self-portrait of myself. I know I don't look like that, but I was just sketching really quickly here. I just wanted to show you that, I mean, from start to finish on these 4 pages, I did this in about an hour. So it's sped up 4 times, I think, on this. I'm pretty sure I sped it up times 4. But it was an hour of just fun journaling and prompts. What I did with the party afterwards was I digitized every single one of these elements and I made stickers out of them. So it involved a lot of Photoshop and resizing and, you know, neatening things up and just, and cleaning it up and color correcting, which is such an involved process. And I cut so many corners in it, I can't even pretend to teach people how to do that. But if you're proficient in Photoshop, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you could just, and this is just an idea, you could just photocopy what you end up coming up with, because these are US letter size, the printable. You could reformat it to print out on an A4. I think it might just shift some of the proportions a little, but because they're all prompts, I don't think it really matters. Maybe your mermaid light might be a little bit warped, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. Let me know how that goes if you're printing it out on A4. But yeah, you could just put these straight into the photocopier and just photocopy them onto sticker paper. The sticker paper I used was Avery sticker paper. It's just white, 8.5 by 11 inches, so US letter size. I got it from Amazon. It was quite affordable. So that's the paper I used in that DavenpARTy video when I made the party favors with all the stickers, and it's been super fun. The girls really loved that, and I made so many extra just because I was trying to figure out if they were working and I wanted to test the print quality, and I've actually used them all, which is so bizarre for me because you know I like to collect things in that orange bag and now the gold box, so I fully expected to have these stickers just lying around for about the next 5 years, and no, they're all gone. So it turns out I do enjoy using a good sticker, which I already knew. But yeah, homemade stickers, who knew? Because I mean, to be honest, we're kind of at the mercy of our printers for a lot of this stuff. You know, there's only so many vibrant colors you can get from a printer. You know, it will never kind of look the same, even as much as I can color correct it. You know, sometimes you've got, in the printer, there's 4 ink cartridges, right? You got a black, cyan, magenta, and a yellow, and it's just a combination of those. And in your paint palette, you've got colors that are very, very specific, and you love the exact shade of that paint palette, or of that paint, that watercolor that you're using, and sometimes those ink tanks can't reproduce that. You can get printers with, more ink tanks, like a light gray, you can get like a light magenta, and some that will print out, very, very vibrant fluorescent colors. But for a standard home printer, one that doesn't set you back an arm and a leg, and your firstborn child, you're kind of at the mercy of those four color tanks. So, I do a lot of color correcting, I do a lot of tweaking just to make it what I like. And so I always thought printing my own stickers, they just wouldn't be as vibrant as I wanted, or they just wouldn't look as nice as I wanted. I thought it'd be a bit of a nightmare to fussy cut them out because, I wanted the stickers to be kind of traveler's notebook sized, and it seemed like the smaller they got, the harder it would be to use. But turns out I actually really enjoyed it. So if you want to grab some Avery sticker paper or any kind of, white matte sticker paper, alternatively you could just photocopy these onto overhead transparencies, acetate sheets, use them as like clear tip-ins. In that Tag Tuesday I did with the Disney villains, I had this like color blocking technique with random pattern papers underneath and acetate drawings. So if you wanted to do that with your portrait, you could do that. There's a ton of ideas that you could do with all this stuff. But the main reason that I came up with it is because it's just a page of prompts. And I wanted people to, I know we can see it on Instagram. It says, like, for day 1, I want you to draw a fairy. Day 2, draw a mermaid. Day 3, draw yourself. That's all well and good, but you have to kind of sit down and commit to it. And, setting your page up, you're kind of, I don't know, sometimes I can get a little lost in starting. So for me, that's why I like digi-stamps, that's why I like stamping and stencils, and that's why I like, collage sheets, because it gives me a great place to start at. It already gives me a foundation. They're just kind of like fun worksheets that you used to do at school, but they're for us now. They're for, they're stuff that we want to do. And on these journal placemats, if you don't want to do lettering the alphabet, you could just letter your name. If you don't want to letter anything, or if you just want to do one letter, you can do that. That's the beauty of these things. They're just prompts. You don't have to follow it. There's no rule. I'm definitely not going to come over and check and make sure that you did it properly. I like to see people really stretch their imaginations and come up with different ways that I didn't think of, come up with things that are just super clever and super unique, and I just love it when people cheat and don't do it the way that they think they should be doing it. I love to see how creative people can get, and the corners that they like to cut too. I mean, I used a stencil to letter that alphabet, so did I technically letter it? No, not at all. But I went over the stencil and gave the letters their own little twist with some ink, a pen, what's it called? Fude that 0.5, that really black ink pen, and just this Muji little red pen, little fine one, a Sharpie marker. You can use this as a way to use some of your products that you don't pull out very often, depending on what paper you printed on. But that's all trial and error too. Like I say to everyone that asks about digi-stamps and how I print them, sometimes it's watercolor paper, sometimes it's copy paper. It could be anything. It just depends on what I want to do with it after I've printed it. So if I'm going to do watercolor after I've printed it, I'm not going to print it on copy paper. I'll try and print it on a watercolor paper or more robust, cardstock. Something maybe with texture too, and sometimes I like it to be really rough-toothed paper, and I don't like the digi-stamp to be printed, with really, really crisp fine lines. I like to have that little bit of feathering around it, and that texture of the paper will really help with that. So with these 4 pages, anyway, I'm getting so off topic. I don't even need to be talking throughout this because it's so obvious and so simple. But with this page, I wanted to show you that I only used a very limited color palette. It was just red and black on this page. Another page that I do, I simply used black, and I used a some water reactive pens, or I think it was a brush pen. And then I used a water brush to pull around some shadows and make some cool grays. Another page I just straight up colored with what's it called, Copic markers and Prismacolor markers, those alcohol-based markers that give a really smooth, flat color. So you can let yourself go nuts, obviously, always. I'm always encouraging you to just go for it. Starting is the hardest part, and I think these prompts are a great way to have something to start with. And they're all individually separated So if you want to, you can cut them up when you're finished and journal with them. At the end of that DavenpARTy video, I showed you how I cut up the entire placemat and journaled the whole thing into a scrapbook. These, design a strip of washi tape. If you want to photocopy that a bunch and just cut them out, I mean, glue it down. I know it's an extra step that washi tape or journal tape, isn't really about, but, you can pretend that you just made it. So, these are just fun little prompts. You can just practice your skills. Hand lettering is something I really say I'm going to practice, but always put off. So a lot of this is great for me just to practice my writing. A lot of it's great to work in a format that you don't necessarily work in. Not a lot of us sit down to draw an image in a very long, thin rectangle. So it can stretch your mind creatively in those kinds of ways. And yeah, I didn't have any plans to put this out, which was unusual because the girls had a lot of fun with it and I thought it would be a lot of fun and I certainly enjoyed doing it. I guess I didn't know if people were interested or if they just wanted to make their own. But since I got a couple of requests and a few comments about it, I thought I would make this available just so that people could use this if they wanted to. It's great. It's just, something else to put in my store that I'm proud of, that I like to use, and I think it'll be a good source of inspiration for people. So if this is something you're looking for, head over to the Etsy store. The link is always in the description box below. And I'm gonna shut up now because I have nothing else to say really. I'm gonna let you watch the rest of it, and then I'll show you the close-ups. And yeah, let me know if you're thinking about getting one. Let me know if you've made your own and tag me on social media so I can see that. And yeah, have fun, go nuts, get a placemat, invite friends over. Go crazy, cut it up, put it in your journal, put it in your planner, reuse it 45 times. That's what I would do. So, alright, thanks for watching everyone, bye!
On a weary line, too scared to trust you and jump down. I'll keep my status quo up here, won't let anybody come near. I'll fix it on my own. 29 years I've been the same, trying so hard to run from shame. Can I keep up the pace? To fool myself, I don't need grace. Will you be there to catch my fall? Need to be sure you'll hear my call. Darkness around me and I don't know why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard to let go. Why I wasted my time, and I'll say I didn't know better, but the truth is I was weak and scared, afraid of the blame. 29 years I've been the same, trying so hard to run from shame, and I will not keep up the pace. To fool myself, I don't need grace. Will you be there to catch my fall? Need to be sure you'll hear my call. Darkness around me and I don't know why it's so hard to let go. Why it's so hard. Will you be there to catch my fall? Need to be sure guess my love is for the ocean.